In August 1914, the Russian Empire surged into the Great War like a tidal wave, vast, proud, but dangerously unstable. With one of the world's largest standing armies, Russia promised to crush Germany and Austria from the east. But size was not strength, and behind its iron front lay rot. In every war zone, in every era, the United States military has stood at the edge of history. From the smoke of independence to the steel of global war, America's power was built through conflict, sacrifice, and strategy. This is Shadow Force, your mission briefing on the rise of American military power, the wars that shaped it, and the tactics that still echo today. Subscribe now and enter the front lines of real history. While Germany invaded Belgium and France, Russia charged into East Prussia. The battles of Tannenberg and the Masurian Lakes followed, and they were disasters. Entire Russian armies were encircled and destroyed. The empire lost over 250,000 men in just a few weeks. A harsh truth emerged. Russia could send millions to war, but it couldn't supply them with food, boots, or bullets. Russia's soldiers fought bravely, but poorly armed, poorly fed, and often abandoned by their commanders. Trenches were primitive. Rifles were scarce. Some units shared one rifle between two men. Back home, famine spread. Breadlines grew. The Tsar's war became the people's suffering. Tsar Nicholas II took personal control of the army in 1915. An act of desperation, not strategy. He left his wife Alexandra in charge of the government, and at her side was the infamous Rasputin, a mystic and manipulator whose influence shattered public trust. The Russian Empire was bleeding at the front and rotting at its heart. Despite early disasters, Russia held the Eastern Front for years. It inflicted heavy casualties on Austria-Hungary and pinned down German forces that might have overwhelmed France. The war was chaotic, but Russia's sacrifice kept the Western Allies alive. Even so, Russia's efforts came at unbearable cost, over 2 million dead and morale collapsing. When the United States joined the war in 1917, Russia barely noticed. By then, the empire was on fire. But across the Atlantic, American newspapers depicted Russia as a broken giant, proof of what could happen without democracy. Though they never fought side by side, Russia's early sacrifice bought time for America to mobilize. In March 1917, revolution shattered the empire. The people overthrew the Tsar. The Romanovs, 300 years of royal rule, were gone. A provisional government promised reform, but kept the war going. In the trenches, hope faded. Soldiers laid down their rifles. Desertions turned to mutiny. Then came Lenin. Smuggled into Russia by Germany in a sealed train, Vladimir Lenin returned from exile like a lightning strike. His message was simple and devastating: peace, land, and bread. In November 1917, his Bolshevik party seized power. In months, Russia became the world's first communist state, and World War I no longer mattered. In March 1918, Lenin signed the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk with Germany. It was humiliating. Russia gave up vast territories, including Ukraine, Poland, and the Baltics. But Lenin didn't care. The war was over. The real fight, civil war between Reds and Whites, had just begun. To the Allies, especially Britain, France, and the U.S., Russia's exit was a betrayal. Suddenly, Germany could shift hundreds of thousands of troops west. That spring, the Kaiser's army nearly broke the Western Front. But Russia's exit also shifted the world's balance. A new ideology, communism, had been born in blood. From 1918 to 1922, Russia burned. The Red Army, led by Leon Trotsky, fought reactionary whites backed by Britain, France, Japan, and even the United States. Yes, American soldiers landed in Russian ports to fight the Bolsheviks. It's a forgotten war within the war. In the end, Lenin won, and the Russian Empire became the Soviet Union. By the time the dust settled, Russia had lost 2.2 million soldiers dead in World War I, another 8 to 12 million in civil war and famine, entire cities bombed, burned, or abandoned. But from that ruin, the Soviet Union emerged, vicious, disciplined, and determined never to be humiliated again. For the United States, the Russian collapse was a warning and a mystery. A wartime ally had turned into a revolutionary state. The U.S. government feared Bolshevism, but watched with cautious respect. The seeds of the Cold War were already buried in the mud of World War I. Russia's role in World War I cannot be measured only by victories or defeats. It held Germany at bay, kept Austria in check, and bore the war's heaviest human cost. Its collapse rewrote history, ushering in communism, civil war, and a new world order that would haunt the 20th century. The Russian Empire didn't just fall, it imploded, and from its ashes rose a force that would shape the rest of modern history. Next episode, Germany, the war machine, the spark, the fire, and the shadow that led to the next World War. Subscribe, like, and support Shadow Force, because when empires fall, history begins. If you believe military history shaped our world, then you've already joined the Force. Hit like, subscribe, and share the mission. Shadow Force continues, and the next chapter awaits.